Ladies and gentlemen, this is gruesome. I'm on my way to Scotland, Knockhill, but I'm going to recall a serious testicle injury I received from flying debris at the track a few years ago. Don't worry, no pictures, because you see, a while back I was walloped in the private parts by a chunk of rock and it doubled me over at a bit of pain, only for the pouch to bruise and swell. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, my gonads took a physical pounding, but the injury also resulted in a moment of inadvertent flatulence and stalling me car at traffic lights in the rough end of Newcastle while wearing a Sunderland shirt. But that's not all. Oh no, that's not all. A year later, I was cracked in the nuts again at Croft. Both times, the driver responsible was called Dan. Those guys create an attraction between me dangling earrings and loose stones travelling at high speed. As photographers, if you let us stand in stupid places, we'll stand in stupid places. So, for our own safety, there are what are called red zones at circuits where we're not allowed to stand and take photos. Oh, a bit of overtaking going on. Anyway, like I said, today we're headed north, smuggling some iron brew back to its home country. But I'm digressing here. Today, I hope my two little friends will return home in a healthy state. Well, that was a bit wet. Bloody soaked. Wearing shorts as well. That's terrible. That's actually, I'm wet. I'm going to be wadded out because it's... Oh, God. It's like I pissed on it. Anyway. Yeah, I'm going to grab some lunch and I'll be with you in a minute. I was going to do this bit trackside, but, well, the brew. It's the only track where all the grid has to go to an assembly area prior to a session, which allows for some pretty different candid shots. But to claim your veteran status, you've got to go to the chicane to get snaps of the cars, hitting the curbs and getting air to really steer it. That's where I was when a Btcc car said it wanted to play conkers with me conkers. I'm not talking bollocks here, forgive the pun. I won't be there at the chicane there today though, because while you're out to walk through most red zones during the race after that injury, I'm not walking through that red zone. And the truth is, if you stay in that shooting position, all you're doing for the whole race is one shot radio. It gets a bit boring. I actually prefer being inside the corner, and that's why. But anyway, it was 2022, race 2 if I remember right. Dan Lloyd had a problem with a drive shaft, I think. He'd gone into the pits and came back out half a lap down, so he was on it, trying to catch the back of the pack. And I remember seeing him coming up towards the chicane and clipping the inside curb, which just unsettled the car a bit. And he got a little slide. It wasn't anything massive or spectacular, not an arms cross thing, but the rear stepped out and his left rear wheel just slipped into the gravel trap. I mean, as photographers, we've all been there before. Car hits gravel, we get sprayed. We actually, in pre-season, tested at Croft that season. Dan did the same thing. I turned one of the gravel, cut me bloody cheek. Face cheek, not arse cheek. But the first things you think in this situation are, have I got the shot? And did I turn quick enough to protect my lens? This time though, there was a thud in my nether regions. And it was the last time I wore jogging shorts at a trackside at a track, I can tell you that. And I kept on shooting, but all I got was dust rather than a car. And I felt no pain at first. I looked down at my feet. It was either a rock or a chunk of tarmac. It was about the size of my fist. Then the pain coursed through one of my plums. I spent a short time as a postman and had to medically retire after busting my balls jumping from a block of flats to avoid being savaged by 3 pit bulls. So the old family factory was already a bit tender, and excuse the language, but I just remember saying, fucking hell me bollocks. And the marshals beside us were laughing as I bent over, which in itself was embarrassing. Through that red zone there is high catch fencing, but beyond where I was, the fencing is a bit above waist height. And fans sit there all day to get the best view. And I was right up against the fence, and when I doubled over in agony, a large chunk of wind decided to exit my rear end loudly in the face of a fan who'd been sitting there since first thing that morning protecting the spot. So if you're watching this, I'm sorry, that's that anal announcement though, it was unplanned. I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. The race continued on and there was a bit of a dull pain in the old handbag, but it seemed to get a bit better and I was able to walk around and finish the day shooting trackside and getting interviews after race 3. But when I went for a whiz, it started to flare up a bit. Not too much. So I got in the car and I headed off home. And I don't know if it was the sitting position or the goolies being caught between my legs when driving, but the further south I drove, the more painful it got. And by the time I got to McDonald's in Berwick, it was agony. So I went to the restroom, inspected the old ball sack, and it had bruised. Not good. So I thought, right, an hour and a half from home, run down the A1, the car will be in 5th gear. I'll put cruise control on and adjust for the speed limits, and it worked until I got the outskirts of Newcastle where the A1 was closed for roadworks. So I had to cut through and ended up in bloody Fenham in Benwell on a sunny Sunday evening wearing a Sunderland shirt. Okay, that's not clever I suppose, but here's me now with a fully inflated balloon between my legs, in total bloody agony. Every time I touch the clutch, you know, junctions and a couple of traffic lights, I stalled about 6 times. I just couldn't get the bloody car started because I couldn't put pressure on the pedal properly. At one traffic light where someone beeped as these 2 pissed up blokes started heading for the car wearing Newcastle tops, I thought, fuck, my windows are gone. But they were offering a push start. They were jibes. I mean, we were in League 1 at the time, not in the we have 6 easy points like now, and I thought, phew, it's not that bad I suppose. But at a junction in Benwell where a bunch of kids were playing football, it was a bit different. Little twats started throwing shit at the car, not like stones but the ball and some juice boxes, while making derogatory comments about people from Sunderland. The next day was hell mind. I was walking in circles with one pair being twice the size of its twin. Agony. But it settled after a few days. Naturally, I've been to McDonald's. Iron brewing there. And when it gets low, I can top it up. Let's go and have a look outside, because that there behind me, it's a fucking nuclear power station. I don't want me cornflakes or Warburtons made from any of the stuff growing around here. Big container ship as well. Feels almost as nice as where I live. Now that wasn't the last time I was struck in the family jewels by gravel. 2023 at Croft. Dan Lloyd crashed out just past where me and another photographer was shooting. But if you see the footage from the TV broadcast, at the bottom you see us quickly moving away as we're sprayed with gravel as Dan roll bottom and Dan Camish kick up stuff that had spilled onto the track. And whack, the old leather wallet was walloped again. By which Dan, I don't know, so all 3 are in the bad book. But this time though, clever me was wearing jeans and there were only small stones. Cracking my stones, but I'd learned my lesson that time. And this time the old tea bags weren't strained. We'll learn from our mistakes and we gain the moral of the story. In this case, make sure you have your kids before becoming a motorsport photographer. I've got 4. Thanks to the only Dans, I'm not sure I've got any swimmers left. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, have a think about subscribing. There's lots of touring car stuff on the channel. It's not all. Wait for it. Bollocks. Cheers for watching. See you soon, me loves.